Hey YouTube, it's Alicia here. Um, I wanted to talk a little bit about something that I had asked recently of my grandmother since we were talking about family trees and everything. My father had just passed away, and I was on the phone with my grandmother talking to her, and I was like, hey, is there psychic stuff in our family? Because I've been having some stuff going on, and I'm a little freaked out about it. And she was like, yeah, Alicia, there is. There's psychic stuff passed down from a lot of generations. Your deceased grandmother and your um, relatives have had experiences with psychic stuff. So, as I bring this up, I just want to point it out. Before my father passed away, I had talked to Adam about calling him because I was worried about him. Uh, it was the day before I actually got a phone call from my family pointing out that, he had passed. And to me, I was a little freaked out. I was actually not freaked out right away, but I was extremely upset at first when I had first heard the news. I literally sat crying in Adam's arms and just had fallen to my knees because I hadn't talked to my father for months. I was devastated. And I felt very upset and guilty of the fact that I just hadn't reached out and talked to him at all. Um, with that being said, going back to the whole psychic thing, uh, the thing that happened in Paris, that was the freakiest thing for me because I had a dream months ago. It was probably like before August. It was at least July, June. It was July, like the end of July going into August. I had had a dream, and I actually posted it on my old Facebook, but my old Facebook was taken down due to a lot of reasons. But, yeah, I had had a dream. I posted it on Facebook. My friend Alyssa Germano saw it, but I had posted that I had had a dream that I was in a Chinese restaurant and I was alone and I was asking the cash register for an address, and he told me to go outside and look for an address on one of the street names, and I got 32 Boylston Street. And what's even creepier about that was that my fiance was in trouble on that street, and he had called me in my dream, called me, he was driving in the car, and he was in a panic attack, and he said, Alicia, you need to get here right now. The address is 32 Boylston Street. And so when he called me in my dream, I like answered and everything, and I was in a convenience store, or I think I was actually in a liquor store, to be honest. I was somewhere. And I ended up running to the nearest restaurant and asking for the address to 32 Boylston Street, and it turned out that I was in a Chinese restaurant, which is really awkward. Um, and then I started running to look for him, and then I woke up. It was really creepy. That was literally the end of July, going into August. Um, so yeah. What the weird part is that I didn't know that this took place in Paris. All I knew was that I had this dream, and as soon as I woke up, I looked up that address. And when I looked it up, it said that it was in Paris, Boylston Street, at a Chinese restaurant. I had the name of the restaurant, the address, everything. It was like on point. It was creepy. But yeah, this dream was weird to me. It stood out because of the fact that everything that just happened. And I don't know. But like I said, I have psychic abilities somehow, and it's passed down to my family. And it's creepy. It's like I wake up from dreams and I'm like, okay, like this thing, you know, it's probably just a dream, whatever. And then, like, a week or so, maybe months later, it happens. Another experience that I had was when I was a kid. I had a dream that I was in a car for I was in a car for a DCF worker. I had this dream when I was at least 11, and I told my grandmother about it. I had told her that I had this dream, and later on, I was 16, and I was on a chins with the courts in Massachusetts for a child in need of behavioral services. My grandmother had put me with the system because I was having a lot of behavioral problems at home, and I was out meeting this older guy, which I shouldn't have been. And, it got into really, really heavy duty stuff. I did end up in DCF services. I ended up with the STAR program for a while. I was put in that program for a few months because I couldn't be at home. My grandmother, the response of the judge was my grandmother needed a break. My brother had just been arrested because he was physically harmful to my grandmother, and I was put in a program for a while. And, I had this dream when I was 11, but it happened when I was 16 and a half, 17 and a half. And I was like, literally, I left court, I went with that DCF worker, and I went straight to the STAR program in Salem. So it's just like, I believe it fully that I have psychic stuff going on, but it's really weird and it's awkward because I don't really like to connect with that. I like kind of keeping myself neutral and balanced. And I think the more you get into that stuff, I think the more away from the world that you become. And it's not a healthy experience. It kind of becomes like a mental instability. So I try to keep myself content and just like in my own balance level. And I don't know how I control it, I just do. But that's a part of the reason why, like, my moods are irregular and why I can pick up energy from people and why I'm like an empath and like stuff like that. It just, when you're in tune with that stuff, you're very spiritually connected to the world, and it kind of brings you down to like earth in a different way. But yeah, that's my experience, and I get creeped out a lot from it. It's a deja vu thing, but it's weird. It's really weird. And yeah, that's it. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye.